Back here at Peoria getting ready for the restart after the Sammy Halbert crash first time around. Wiles back on the inside.
Keep going, Baker. He made a great start off that first start. He was second behind Wiles off the jump.
Better this time. Wiles doesn't panic too much. He lets him go by because he knows he's got that inside line, Scott, coming off the corner, and it works again.
God, his bike's working so good, and he gets down in there, like, didn't bother him at all. He wasn't leading it going into one. He kept with his tight line, and that Kawasaki just jetted off turn one. He's on his way to winning 10 right now. That's what he's thinking already.
Well, and the herd thunders by. You know, like you said, you win 9 of these in a row. You don't panic about much when you come here, do you?
No, it's like me going to Daytona. You just kind of knew what you were going to do. Kind of the same deal, and that really works. You know, on other riders' head, it gives you so much confidence as a rider going into a track that you've dominated on. And Wiles is showing him how it's done again. With me, he's trying to make something happen on the 9, but he's got his work cut out for him today to stay with Wiles.
Huh, so you're admitting you played a little bit of mind games with Miguel, huh?
Oh, all the time. You know how we do it. That's racing, isn't it?
Henry Wiles, I'm sure, mentally had 90% of this field beaten when they just walked into the place. When you win 9 in a row, you pretty much own your competition, don't
And
you?
come in here, set fastest time on the pole, win the heat. You know, yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, are we racing for second here today, or we're going to have to do, we have a shot at beating Henry Wiles. As he launches that thing off that jump, the number 9, Mees, is right there with him, and the number 1, Brad Baker's not far behind.
Well, Mees isn't ready to give up just yet. Remember, Mees has had a pretty good day, too. He won his heat earlier today, so he's feeling pretty racy on that number 9. And, of course, Johnson and Baker, even Bauman, who, as we saw at the beginning of the show, wasn't feeling too confident. He's running pretty good.
Woo! Like getting it all sideways. Wiles and then behind him, Baker really got the thing out of shape as they landed off that jump. Track's slick when you land off that jump. It's just, there's no real, it's good grip, but then the thing bounces off the ground, kind of suspensions unloads, and the bike gets sideways. That was cool. See if he can clean that up a little bit. He really doesn't want to do that. Oh, still again. Pretty hard hit for the 17, but I think he's having fun just letting the bike dance underneath him. And that, normally when you're riding as well as he is, you don't worry about that. That's how you let it hang out, you know, and let the bike just do what it's going to do, and you just adapt to whatever's happening at the time.
He's trying to open up as much of a gap as he can over Mees, but Jared not ready to give up yet on that Montgomeryville cycle-backed Honda.
Mees looks like he can gain some ground off the jump coming into that corner and the last corner on the entrance. But it's once they get the thing pointed, then that Kawasaki, when he pulls the trigger, that thing jets off the corner. He's really putting the power to the ground right here. You can see it right now. The gap's starting to grow right now.
And then when they get to the other end, on the backside of this jump, under braking, going in through that next set of corners here, this is where Mees gains up ground. You can see Wiles struggles a little bit with the front end of that bike.
And he's really using that front brake. That's an area like from road racing. It's easy to make time on the guy behind, even in a flat track too. Obviously, you just buried into the corner a little bit deeper. Sometimes you hurt your drive off that corner, but you can make some of that time up. Mees is hanging in there well right now.
Well, we got a long way to go, scheduled for 25 laps. Tell you what, if Wiles makes a mistake, which he hasn't so far today, but if he makes one, Mees will be ready to pounce.
Exactly. Johnson's made a move in the back to get around, move his way up into third spot, but he's so far behind right now. He's just trying to maintain and see if he can make some kind of inroad into the lead. These two have already built up already early in the race.
Wiles trying to get to double-digit wins here at Peoria. It would be 10 in a row, closing in on the legendary record set by the Prince of Peoria, Chris Carr, who won 13 here at the TT.
Yeah, Mees just airs it out, just leaves it maybe the throttle a little bit on, a little bit longer. And that allows him to close that in off that jump. When he lands it, you can see he's got more speed in the 9. Then Wiles had that lap, and that's where you saw that lead shrink right there.
Battle behind him too with Johnson and Baker is pretty good. Right back there you can see it as they fight over third. Wiles hasn't had competition like this over the course of the weekend. He's been pretty much checked out by 4 or 5 seconds like he was in his heat race.
Yeah, he's got heat now, and he can't afford to make any mistakes. His me's going to be right there. Don't foresee that happening, but anything's possible in the race. And you can see right there in the middle of the corner, Wiles gets that Cowie turn and gets the power on, and Mees is still trying to get his Honda to turn that little bit, and that's the difference, I think, Ralph. You just keep a guy that right there at that distance, and he can really never make a move at you, not close enough to strike.
Halfway, ready to go for the conclusion when Speed Sport comes back to the Peoria TT.
Are you ready, race fans? The fastest micro sprint drivers from across the nation will battle it out in the first ever Port City Raceway Micro Sprint Outlaw Nationals, October 16th through the 18th. Sprint car drivers Shane Stewart, Rico Abreu, Christopher Bell, and more of the hottest, most fearless drivers in the country are scheduled to compete for the biggest payout in micro sprint history. Don't miss Port City Raceway's biggest event ever, the Port City Raceway Outlaw Nationals. Get ready to witness racing history.